Chapter 1, Introduction: Why Blood Pressure Matters After 50. High blood pressure, also called hypertension, has earned the nickname the silent killer. And it's not an exaggeration. The danger lies in the fact that hypertension often has no obvious symptoms. You can feel perfectly fine, still go about your day, do your work, and even exercise, and yet, your blood vessels may be under constant and dangerous strain. Over time, this hidden pressure can wear down the body like water dripping against stone, slowly but relentlessly. If left unchecked, high blood pressure damages nearly every major organ system. It weakens the heart by forcing it to pump harder, which can eventually lead to heart failure or thickening of the heart walls. It harms the kidneys, which act like natural filters, by straining delicate blood vessels until they lose efficiency. It affects the brain, increasing the risk of strokes, mini-strokes, and even memory decline. And it doesn't spare your eyes either. Chronic hypertension can damage the tiny blood vessels in the retina, leading to vision problems or blindness. The risk grows even more concerning after age 50. At this stage of life, the body undergoes changes that make hypertension more likely. Hormonal shifts play a role, especially for women after menopause, when estrogen levels drop. Estrogen has protective effects on blood vessels, and losing that protection often results in stiffer arteries. Meanwhile, the natural elasticity of arteries decreases with age. Instead of flexible, spring-like tubes that can expand and contract, blood vessels become more rigid, raising pressure inside them. Add to that a slower metabolism, which makes weight management harder, and decades of accumulated lifestyle habits such as high-salt diets, lack of exercise, and stress, and it becomes clear why high blood pressure is so common after 50. The numbers tell the story. Nearly 2 out of 3 adults over 60 either already have high blood pressure or are at serious risk of developing it. That means if you're over 50, chances are high that this issue is either on your doorstep or already inside your house. But here's the hopeful, empowering truth: high blood pressure is not inevitable. You are not powerless against it. Every single day, you can influence your numbers by the choices you make, especially in the kitchen. Food is not neutral, it acts either like medicine or poison. Certain foods can actively lower blood pressure by relaxing arteries, balancing sodium and potassium, reducing inflammation, and supporting kidney function. Others, however, do the opposite. They spike your blood pressure, stiffen your arteries, encourage water retention, and add unnecessary strain to your heart. In this video, we're going to explore the 5 foods you need to avoid immediately if you're over 50 and concerned about high blood pressure. These are the foods that sabotage your cardiovascular health the most, and unfortunately, many of them are common in everyday diets. By the end of this video, you'll not only know what to stay away from, but you'll also understand why these foods are harmful on a biological level, and most importantly, what healthier swaps you can make instead. Chapter 2: The Hidden Enemy: Processed Meats. When you think of comfort foods, holidays, or easy sandwiches, what comes to mind? Hot dogs at a barbecue, bacon with breakfast, ham slices in a sandwich, or salami and pepperoni on a pizza. These foods are convenient, tasty, and often tied to memories, but they're also one of the most dangerous categories for anyone worried about blood pressure. The problem lies in their nutrient profile. Processed meats are typically loaded with sodium, preservatives, and unhealthy fats. Take deli turkey as an example. A single serving, just a few slices, can contain 500 to 700 milligrams of sodium. To put that in perspective, the American Heart Association recommends no more than 1,500 milligrams of sodium per day for people with high blood pressure. So with just one sandwich, you could be consuming nearly half of your daily allowance. And bacon or sausages? They're even worse, often pushing your sodium intake over the daily limit in one meal. Here's why sodium is such a problem. Sodium acts like a sponge in your bloodstream. It pulls in water, increasing the volume of blood flowing through your arteries. Imagine your arteries as pipes. The more fluid you force through them, the higher the pressure inside. That constant extra volume makes the heart work harder and keeps your blood vessels under strain. Over time, this high-pressure flow weakens artery walls, stiffens them, and makes them more prone to dangerous blockages that can lead to heart attacks or strokes. But sodium isn't the only villain. Processed meats also contain nitrates and nitrites, chemical preservatives used to keep meats pink and flavorful. When consumed, these compounds can form harmful byproducts in the body, damaging the lining of blood vessels and promoting chronic inflammation. Inflamed arteries are less able to relax, which means higher pressure and more cardiovascular strain. Saturated fats in processed meats add another layer of risk. They contribute to arterial plaque buildup, sticky deposits that narrow arteries and raise blood pressure further. The combination of sodium, preservatives, and unhealthy fats makes processed meats a triple threat for people over 50. It's important to realize that this isn't just about numbers on a blood pressure monitor. Large population studies show that people who regularly consume processed meats have higher rates of hypertension, heart disease, and stroke. One study published in the journal Circulation found that eating processed meats daily increased the risk of heart disease by 42% and diabetes by 19%. Healthier swap. The good news is, you don't need to give up flavor or convenience. Instead of deli meats, roast a chicken breast or turkey at home and slice it for sandwiches. If you enjoy tuna sandwiches, use canned tuna packed in water and mix it with avocado or Greek yogurt instead of salty mayonnaise. For breakfast, replace bacon with avocado slices, sautéed mushrooms, or a veggie omelette. These swaps still give you taste and satisfaction, but without the blood pressure spike. Chapter 3: Packaged and Instant Meals, the Sodium Bombs. Now let's talk about the foods many people turn to when they don't have the time or energy to cook: frozen pizzas, canned soups, instant ramen noodles, and microwave dinners. They may save time, but they come at a steep cost to your health, especially your blood pressure. Most packaged meals are engineered for long shelf life and convenience, and the easiest way to achieve that is by adding huge amounts of sodium. Sodium doesn't just preserve food, it enhances flavor, masks blandness, and makes you crave more. But in terms of health, it's a disaster. Consider instant ramen. A single cup can contain over 1,600 milligrams of sodium, more than an entire day's recommended intake in just one meal. Frozen pizzas aren't much better, with many brands containing 700 to 1,000 milligrams of sodium per slice. And canned soups? A single serving often exceeds 800 milligrams of sodium, and let's be honest, most people eat more than one serving at a time. This sodium overload doesn't just cause a temporary spike in blood pressure. Over time, it contributes to arterial stiffness, kidney strain, and chronic hypertension. When kidneys are forced to process large amounts of sodium daily, they gradually lose efficiency. For people over 50, whose kidney function may already be declining naturally, this effect is even more damaging. But it's not just the sodium. Packaged meals often lack the nutrients that counterbalance sodium, like potassium and magnesium. Potassium is critical because it helps relax blood vessels and promotes the excretion of excess sodium. Magnesium supports arterial relaxation and overall cardiovascular function. When your diet is heavy in sodium and light in these protective minerals, the imbalance makes blood pressure rise even faster. These meals also tend to be nutrient-poor and calorie-dense. They're high in refined carbs, unhealthy fats, and chemical additives, but low in fiber, antioxidants, and essential vitamins. Eating them regularly not only raises blood pressure but also fuels weight gain, insulin resistance, and systemic inflammation, a deadly trio for cardiovascular health. Healthier swap. Convenience doesn't have to mean danger. Instead of instant noodles, try cooking whole grain pasta and tossing it with olive oil, garlic, and vegetables. It takes about the same time and provides fiber, potassium, and magnesium. Instead of canned soup, make a large batch of vegetable, lentil, or chicken soup at home and freeze individual portions. That way, you always have a quick meal ready without the sodium overload. For nights when you're tired, keep pre-chopped vegetables, cooked quinoa, or brown rice in the fridge. With just a few minutes, you can assemble a nourishing, heart-friendly meal. Chapter 4: Sugary Drinks, the Sweet Trap. When most people think of sugar, they imagine candy, cookies, or cake. But one of the biggest sugar sources sneaks into our diet through drinks. Sodas, sweetened iced teas, flavored lattes, Bottled smoothies, sports drinks, and energy drinks might look harmless because they come in a bottle or cup. They may even feel refreshing. But when it comes to high blood pressure after 50, sugary drinks are like gasoline thrown on a fire. Why? Because liquid sugar behaves differently from sugar in solid foods. When you eat a cookie, at least your body has some fiber and fat slowing down absorption. But with a soda, the sugar rushes directly into your bloodstream. Your pancreas has to pump out insulin quickly to bring blood sugar levels down, and this rollercoaster effect over time contributes to insulin resistance, weight gain, and inflammation, all major drivers of high blood pressure. Studies show that people who drink just 1 or 2 sugary beverages a day are significantly more likely to develop metabolic syndrome, a cluster of conditions that includes high blood pressure, high blood sugar, belly fat, and abnormal cholesterol. Together, these conditions triple your risk of heart disease and stroke. But the danger goes beyond blood sugar. Excess sugar directly harms your blood vessels in 3 major ways. Artery stiffness. High sugar intake makes arteries less flexible, meaning your blood pressure rises because your vessels can't expand and contract easily. Endothelial damage. The endothelium is the delicate inner lining of your blood vessels. Sugar damages these cells, making it harder for your body to produce nitric oxide, the chemical that relaxes arteries. Uric acid overload. Sugary drinks, especially those containing high fructose corn syrup, increase uric acid levels. This doesn't just cause gout, it also interferes with your kidney's ability to excrete sodium. And when sodium stays in the body, blood pressure climbs. Now let's talk caffeine. Many sodas and nearly all energy drinks contain large doses of caffeine. While moderate caffeine may be safe for some, in sensitive individuals it can cause a temporary spike in blood pressure and heart rate. For someone over 50, who may already have stiff arteries, this added stress compounds the problem. A silent habit with loud consequences. The tricky part about sugary drinks is how invisible they feel. Many people don't think twice about drinking 1 or 2 sodas a day, or grabbing a sweet iced coffee on the way to work. But one large sweetened latte can have more sugar than 2 donuts. Over weeks, months, and years, this constant sugar exposure keeps your blood vessels under attack. Healthier swaps that actually satisfy. Replace soda with sparkling water infused with lemon, lime, cucumber, or fresh berries. You still get the fizz without the sugar. Make iced herbal teas at home and sweeten them lightly with stevia or monk fruit if you need a hint of sweetness. Try kombucha in moderation. It offers probiotics and a tangy fizz but far less sugar than soda. For coffee drinkers, skip the syrups and use cinnamon, cocoa powder, or vanilla extract for flavor instead of pumps of sugar. The goal isn't deprivation, it's replacing a harmful habit with something that supports your arteries, instead of damaging them. After all, every sip you take is either building your health or breaking it down. Chapter 5, Packaged Snacks, the Salty Crunch. Picture this: you're watching TV at night, and you grab a bag of chips, some pretzels, or a handful of cheese puffs. It feels harmless, just a light snack, right? But here's the problem: packaged snacks are one of the most deceptive contributors to high blood pressure, especially for people over 50. These foods are designed by food companies to be addictive. They combine salt, fat, crunch, and flavor enhancers in just the right balance to make your brain crave more. It's not your willpower failing, it's food engineering. And the result is that you rarely stop at just a handful. Let's break down the blood pressure dangers inside these snacks. Sodium overload. Chips, pretzels, and crackers are loaded with salt. One serving of chips can contain over 300 milligrams of sodium, but who eats just one serving? A large bag can deliver 1,000 to 1,500 milligrams, nearly your entire daily limit. This sodium forces your body to retain water, increases blood volume, and raises blood pressure. Unhealthy oils. Many packaged snacks are fried in cheap, refined oils like soybean, corn, or palm oil. Some may even contain trans fats. These oils increase inflammation and make arteries stiffer, compounding the effects of sodium. Nutrient emptiness. These snacks provide calories but almost no fiber, potassium, or magnesium, the very nutrients that counterbalance sodium and help regulate blood pressure naturally. Here's something important: when you fill up on chips or crackers, you're displacing healthier foods. Every time you snack on a handful of pretzels, that's an opportunity lost to eat almonds, carrots, or fruit, foods that actively support your cardiovascular system. The psychology of crunch. There's a reason crunchy snacks feel satisfying. The sound and texture actually stimulate pleasure centers in your brain. The trick is to swap the source of crunch to something that supports health instead of undermining it. Healthier swaps that still crunch. Try air-popped popcorn seasoned with garlic powder, smoked paprika, or Italian herbs instead of salt. Snack on roasted chickpeas or edamame, which deliver both crunch and protein. Keep raw almonds, walnuts, or pumpkin seeds nearby. They contain magnesium, which helps relax blood vessels. Slice cucumbers, celery, or bell peppers and pair them with hummus or guacamole for a fresh, hydrating crunch. Think of it this way: every crunchy snack you eat can either stiffen your arteries or help them stay flexible. The choice is yours, and your blood pressure will thank you for choosing wisely. Chapter 6: Alcohol, the hidden contributor. For many people, alcohol is part of social life or evening relaxation. A glass of wine at dinner, a beer with friends, or a cocktail at a celebration seems harmless, maybe even healthy, since you've probably heard that wine is good for the heart. But the truth is more complicated, especially after age 50. Alcohol affects blood pressure in subtle but powerful ways. Here's how. Hormonal stress response. Alcohol stimulates the release of cortisol and adrenaline, hormones that constrict blood vessels and raise blood pressure. Liver disruption. Your liver helps regulate many hormones involved in blood pressure control. Alcohol impairs liver function, making it harder to keep blood pressure balanced. Weight gain. Alcohol contains empty calories. A glass of wine has about 120 calories, a pint of beer 150 to 200, and cocktails can top 300 to 400 calories each. These calories add up quickly, leading to belly fat, one of the strongest predictors of hypertension. Sleep interference. Many people think alcohol helps them sleep, but it actually reduces sleep quality, disrupts deep sleep cycles, and raises nighttime blood pressure. Poor sleep itself is linked to hypertension. Research shows that people who drink heavily are far more likely to develop sustained high blood pressure. But here's the catch: even moderate drinking, defined as more than 1 drink per day for women or 2 for men, can raise risks for people already over 50. With age, your body processes alcohol less efficiently, so its effects are amplified. The myth of health is wine. Red wine is often said to be good for the heart because of antioxidants like resveratrol. But here's the reality. You'd need to drink gallons of wine daily to get the same benefits you could get from a handful of grapes or blueberries. The alcohol content cancels out any potential advantage. Healthier rituals for relaxation. The truth is, for most people, it's the ritual of drinking, holding a glass, winding down after work, that feels comforting. You can replace that ritual without the blood pressure damage. Swap wine for sparkling water with lime, cucumber, or mint in a wine glass. Try alcohol-free beer or wine. Many taste surprisingly close to the real thing. Explore mocktails made with soda water, fresh citrus juice, and herbs like basil or rosemary. In the evening, brew chamomile or lavender tea for relaxation without side effects. The key takeaway: alcohol isn't harmless, especially after 50. Every sip matters. By choosing alternatives that relax you without harming your arteries, you not only protect your blood pressure but also improve your sleep, liver health, and energy. Chapter 7: The Science Behind Food and Blood Pressure. Now that we've explored the 5 foods you should avoid, let's step back and dive deeper into the science of how diet shapes your blood pressure every single day. Understanding this behind-the-scenes biology will help you realize why some foods push your blood pressure up, while others bring it back down. Blood pressure is not random, it's influenced by a fine-tuned balance of minerals, hormones, hydration, and vessel health. Here are the key players. Sodium. This mineral is essential for life. Your body needs it to send nerve signals and control muscle function. But too much sodium is like adding extra water into a garden hose. The more fluid that builds up, the harder your heart has to pump. High sodium also damages the kidneys, which are supposed to help filter extra fluid. Potassium, think of potassium as sodium's natural balancer. It relaxes artery walls and helps the kidneys flush out extra sodium. Most people over 50 eat far too little potassium, especially if their diets are heavy in processed foods. Without enough potassium, your arteries stay tight, your vessels stiffen, and your pressure rises. Magnesium and calcium, these minerals act like relaxers and stabilizers. Magnesium calms the nervous system and keeps muscles, including blood vessels, from spasming. Calcium helps regulate the contraction and relaxation of arteries. A diet low in these minerals can create constant tension inside your blood vessels. Inflammation and vessel flexibility, foods rich in refined sugar, alcohol, and processed oils promote inflammation. Inflammation damages the endothelium, the inner lining of your arteries, and makes it harder for your body to produce nitric oxide, the chemical that allows vessels to widen and relax. Over time, this chronic irritation causes arteries to stiffen, like an old garden hose left in the sun. Hydration, water may not get enough credit when we talk about blood pressure. Proper hydration keeps blood volume balanced and supports the kidney's filtering system. When you're dehydrated, the blood becomes thicker, forcing your heart to pump harder. Now let's zoom out. Why do certain eating patterns like the DASH diet, dietary approaches to stop hypertension, and the Mediterranean diet consistently lower blood pressure in clinical trials? Because both emphasize whole foods rich in potassium, magnesium, and fiber. Healthy fats that reduce inflammation. Minimal processed foods loaded with salt and sugar. Science is clear, every meal you eat is like casting a vote for higher blood pressure or lower blood pressure. Over time, those daily votes add up and decide the health of your heart and arteries. Chapter 8: What to eat instead, building a blood pressure-friendly plate. Avoiding harmful foods is only half of the equation. To truly support your heart and blood vessels, you need to fill your plate with protective, nourishing options that actively lower your risk. Think of your plate as your prescription for stronger arteries. Here are the stars of a blood pressure-friendly diet. Leafy greens, spinach, kale, Swiss chard, and arugula are powerhouses of potassium and magnesium. These nutrients help flush out sodium and keep blood vessels relaxed. Dark greens also contain nitrates, which your body converts into nitric oxide, a natural artery relaxer. Try adding a handful of greens to smoothies, omelets, or soups. Berries, blueberries, strawberries, and blackberries contain anthocyanins, plant compounds that reduce arterial stiffness and improve blood flow. In fact, research shows that people who eat berries several times a week have lower blood pressure compared to those who don't. Add them to oatmeal, yogurt, or salads. Oily fish, salmon, sardines, and mackerel are loaded with omega-3 fatty acids. These fats reduce inflammation, lower triglycerides, and keep arteries flexible. Eating fish twice a week is linked to significantly lower blood pressure and reduced risk of heart attacks. Legumes, beans, lentils, and chickpeas are high in fiber and plant-based protein but naturally low in sodium. Fiber helps control blood sugar and weight, both critical for blood pressure. They also supply potassium and magnesium, making them an all-around win. Nuts and seeds, almonds, walnuts, chia seeds, flax seeds, and pumpkin seeds deliver healthy fats, protein, and magnesium. Just a small handful daily supports vessel relaxation and helps reduce cravings for salty processed snacks. Whole grains, oats, quinoa, barley, and brown rice provide slow-burning energy, fiber, and minerals. Unlike refined grains, they don't spike blood sugar. Stable blood sugar means less insulin resistance, which lowers long-term blood pressure risk. Pro tip: building a plate that protects your arteries. Imagine your plate divided into sections. Half filled with vegetables and fruits. A quarter with whole grains or legumes. A quarter with lean protein like fish or poultry. Add a small handful of nuts or seeds, and you've created a meal that naturally lowers blood pressure. This isn't about dieting. It's about giving your arteries the raw materials they need to stay open, elastic, and strong well into your later years. Chapter 9: Lifestyle Habits that Amplify Your Diet. Food is incredibly powerful, but its benefits multiply when combined with lifestyle habits. Think of diet as the foundation and lifestyle as the pillars that hold the structure of your health in place. Together, they create stability and strength. Here are the habits that work hand in hand with nutrition to keep blood pressure balanced. Stay active. Exercise is like a natural blood pressure medicine. Brisk walking, swimming, biking, dancing, or resistance training all improve circulation, strengthen your heart, and help blood vessels stay flexible. Just 30 minutes a day can lower blood pressure numbers by 5 to 8 points. Maintain a healthy weight. Excess weight, especially belly fat, makes your heart work harder and contributes to insulin resistance. The good news? Even a small reduction in weight, just 5 to 10%, can make a huge difference in lowering blood pressure. Sleep well. Quality sleep is often overlooked. When you don't sleep enough, stress hormones like cortisol rise, blood vessels tighten, and blood pressure spikes. Aim for 7 to 9 hours of restorative sleep. Establish a calming bedtime routine and keep your bedroom cool, dark, and quiet. Manage stress. Chronic stress keeps your nervous system in fight or flight mode, raising blood pressure over time. Techniques like deep breathing, meditation, yoga, journaling, or even spending time in nature can reduce tension and calm your arteries. Stay hydrated. Water helps regulate blood volume and supports the kidneys in flushing out sodium. A good rule of thumb is to sip water throughout the day. Herbal teas also count toward hydration and can provide extra benefits, like calming nerves or reducing inflammation. Think of lifestyle changes as multipliers. Eating well is powerful, but when you combine it with exercise, stress management, and quality sleep, you create a powerful synergy that strengthens your heart and lowers blood pressure naturally. Chapter 10: Final Thoughts. After age 50, your choices truly matter more than ever. High blood pressure may be common, but it is not a guaranteed part of aging, nor is it something you have to simply accept. You hold the power to change the trajectory of your health. By cutting out processed meats, packaged meals, sugary drinks, salty snacks, and excess alcohol, you're removing some of the most dangerous triggers of hypertension. But even more importantly, by adding in fresh vegetables, leafy greens, berries, fish, legumes, nuts, seeds, and whole grains, you're actively giving your body the tools to heal. Strong, flexible arteries do more than keep blood pressure down. They protect your brain from strokes, your kidneys from failure, and your heart from strain. They give you more energy during the day, better focus, and the freedom to live life without fear of sudden health crises. The next time you reach for a meal or snack, pause and ask yourself, right pointing back hand index, is this food helping my arteries, or hurting them? That single question can change the way you eat, the way you feel, and the way you age. Every smart choice you make is like an investment in your future, one that pays back with years of vitality, strength, and clarity. Because at the end of the day, food isn't just fuel. Food is information. Food is medicine. And food can either be your strongest ally against high blood pressure or your biggest enemy. The choice, as always, is yours.